Even after you've comped your vocals, you may still find some issues that you want to fix. Vocal tuning and time correction are very common practices in modern vocal production. In the next two videos, I'll show you how to tune your vocals using Melodyne and Auto-Tune Pro, the two most widely used tools for vocal tuning nowadays. In this video, I'll start with Melodyne. First, I like to consolidate my composite take by selecting all of the clips and pressing Shift-Option-3. It's not a required step, but I just like to work with consolidated clips. Next, I'll load up Melodyne. Melodyne needs to be loaded on the first insert on your channel. It needs to come before any effects. Because Melodyne captures the audio from the track and stores it in the plugin, if you put it after an effect, like my EQ and compression here, it'll also capture the EQ and compression. So again, you just want to make sure it's loaded as the first insert on the channel. I need to transfer the audio recording into the Melodyne plugin. So I'll place my playhead somewhere just before where she starts singing, and then I'll select the transfer button in Melodyne. I'll also go up to the algorithm menu and make sure that this is set to the melodic algorithm. This is best for monophonic material like vocals. Then I'll just press play to capture the recording.
Now that you're sober, don't tell me that it's over. Don't turn this ship around and tell me that you can't give one more day. Don't ever tell me why. Don't you ever tell me why. 'Cause I don't want to know.
After you transfer in the section you want to tune, it breaks it up into a piano roll style editor in the Melodyne window. One thing I want to set before I start tuning these vocals is the key of the song. Melodyne does a pretty good job at determining the key of the vocals based on the pitch of the notes that she sings. However, it does sometimes get it wrong. As you can see here, Melodyne has determined that the key of the song is G minor, but it's actually D minor. To change this, click on the tonic note you want to set, so D in my case, and then select the specific mode for the tonic, so D minor. This will be handy later when I snap notes to the key of the song. To listen to a section, just double-click on the timeline ruler up here.
Now that you're sober.
So looking at the notes in this first phrase, you can kind of see the intended pitches for these. But this note down here is kind of a scoop up to the starting note. So I won't select that one, and I'll just select the notes that I want to tune. Then I'll click up here to show the correct pitch macro. And then I can correct the pitch center from 0 to 100%. You can also snap your pitch correction to the key of the song here, so this is why it's important to have the key set properly before tuning. In addition to the pitch center slider, there's a pitch drift option. This helps to center the natural pitch variation within the notes. I normally don't use this on all of the notes I tune, just certain ones. And I'll show you a tool later on that allows you to apply this to just individual notes without having to pull up this pitch correction macro.
Now that you're sober.
Great, so she wasn't really far off to begin with, but that tuning really helps to tighten things up a bit. Let's play the next section.
Don't tell me that it's over.
Sometimes Melodyne will separate notes that don't need to be, and it'll sometimes keep notes together that need to be separated. At the beginning here, these four notes are actually just two notes. The words don't tell.
Don't tell me.
In order to properly tune these, I need to join these four notes back together into just two notes. To do this, simply hover your cursor above the split point between the two notes, and you'll see the cursor change into this icon. Then just double-click to rejoin the notes. The wiggly line that runs in the center of these notes shows the pitch variation or pitch drift across time. Sometimes it's just vibrato, but other times it's a note like this that needs to be split into two notes. To do this, just hover over the note like before and double-click to split the note into two at the cursor.
Don't tell me that it's over.
Now I can select the notes, open the pitch macro, and correct the notes the same as I did before.
Don't tell me that it's over.
Now, sometimes tuning to 100% can be a bit jarring, especially with the higher notes in a phrase. So often what I'll do is certain notes I'll pull down the pitch correction on to make them sound more natural.
Don't tell me that it's over.
If you click and hold on the pitch tool, there are two sub-tools you can pick from, the pitch modulation tool and the pitch drift tool. First, I'll show you the pitch drift tool. This does the same thing as the pitch drift slider in the correct pitch macro, but if I want to just apply the effect to an individual note, this tool is the better way to go.
Don't tell me that it's over.
You can also manually adjust the fine-tuning of notes by just holding Option and then dragging the note up or down.
That you can't give one more day.
This really helps when you want to move notes closer to their intended target, but you don't want to tune them all the way.
You can't give one more day.
The amplitude tool can be used to pull up or pull down the volume of each note. This is helpful if certain notes are too loud or too soft, and compression alone isn't enough to compensate. I'll typically use the pitch modulation tool last, after I've tuned up all of the vocals in the section. What this does is it allows you to adjust the amount of natural pitch drift and vibrato in the note. So you can make this more narrow, or you can even widen it. If you double click on notes, it'll set the pitch modulation to 0, which will completely get rid of any pitch modulation, resulting in a really robotic, sort of stereotypical auto-tune sound.
Now that you're sober, don't tell me that it's over.
Now that's not the sound that I want for this song, but I will pull this down just a little bit to soften the pitch drift and vibrato in her voice.
Now that you're sober, don't tell me that it's over.
You can also affect the timing of notes in Melodyne. Simply hold Option while making adjustments to the front and back end of notes to clean up the timing. With vocals, you don't want to start quantizing to the grid. That'll never sound good. But making some minor timing fixes here and there can really help to tighten up the vocal quite a bit. Now that I'm done tuning up and fixing the timing issues, let's give this whole phrase a listen with the music back in.
Now that you're sober, don't tell me that it's over. Don't turn this ship around and tell me that you can't give one more day. Don't ever tell me why. Don't you ever tell me why. 'Cause I don't want to know.
So that's vocal tuning and timing correction in Melodyne. In the next video, I'll show you how to do the same with Auto-Tune Pro.